Welcome to another episode, everyone. Level 4 prison protocols. How do you survive in a level 4 prison? Listen up closely. If you listen and follow these protocols that everyone must follow, you will make it out of prison alive in one piece with both of your eyes intact, both of your ears, and you still have your nose. If you do not listen, you can lose one of these things, if not all of them, have one of them cut off of you, because the level 4 prisons are very political. In California, you have a level 1, you have a level 2, you have a level 3, and you have a level 4. All prisons have a protocol, level 4 being the highest level that you can go to. This is where all of the chaos, mayhem, and violence happens in the California system on a level 4 prison. Now, violence happens on all levels, of course, but on a level 4 prison, the politics are very intense. And if you do not follow these particular politics, you can be a target and you can indeed lose your life. Many people have lost their life for flouting these protocols. Now, it's real simple. All prisons have a simple protocol. You can't be in there for 3 particular things: being a chomo, a snitch, or a thief. You certainly don't want to be a thief while you're in prison. So first of all, you don't want to put a target on your back by coming to prison for any one of those things. Nevertheless, once you get into prison, you have different protocols on different yards. It depends on where you go. Even on the level 4s, every level 4 yard is different. There are universal rules that you are expected to follow no matter what level you are on, 1, 2, 3, or 4. And if you are on a level 4 yard, no matter which level 4 yard you are on, you will be expected to follow certain protocols, or you will thus be putting a target on your back should you subvert these rules and protocols. Again, and they are very simple. Do not disrespect anyone. You take this rule with you everywhere on any and every level. Do not steal. That's just not level 4. That's any and everywhere. You don't want to get caught doing that. Do not get into debt because you're using and you can't pay for this stuff, or you're gambling and you can't pay the debt, then that puts your life in danger. I'll explain why in a second. Now, certain level 4s, those are universal rules, but certain level 4s have different protocols. It depends on where you are from, what ethnicity you are, who your shot caller is. For example, you may go to one level 4 and the shot caller there, if you are Blood, if you are Crip, if you are a non-affiliate, the shot caller for your particular faction may say there is no gambling on this yard because they had a prior experience where one of their homeboys got into debt over gambling and it caused a riot, or it caused a melee. It caused individuals to be stabbed up because he couldn't pay the debt. So now they have implemented the rule that you cannot gamble on that yard. Nevertheless, you go to another level 4 yard and they're gambling right there openly on the yard, everywhere. It's allowed. You can gamble there. The shot caller there says, oh yeah, the shot caller, he gambles himself. You hit one level 4 yard, they say that you cannot buy any illicit stuff. You can't use this stuff on the yard. You hit another yard, the shot caller says it's allowed as long as you don't be out on the yard loaded. As long as you pay for the stuff and pay your debt, you can go ahead and do what you have to do. So it depends on what yard you go to and where you are from. The Bloods have a different protocol than the Crips on every yard. So some things may be allowed with the Bloods that are disallowed with the Crips and vice versa. Some things are allowed with the Southsiders that are not allowed with the Norteños and vice versa. So that just depends on your faction and your structure and who you are, where you're from, and the structure that you have there on that particular yard. And when you get to the yard, you want to find this out. As soon as you hit a prison yard, particularly a level 4 yard, you want to ask a few questions. You don't want to go poking around asking who has the sack, who's making the money, who the big dog is on the yard. No. But you want to ask your car, your faction, someone from your car, particularly you want to try to get to the shot caller and ask him, you want to take the temperature of the yard. You want to know where you are at. So you want to ask the shot caller or someone that you have just met on the yard, even someone who you know from somewhere else. Once you hit the yard, oh, what's up, my boy? What's up? Hey, man, let me holler at you. And you want to ask a few questions. Number one, when was the last riot here on this yard? Who was it? Who was involved in the riot? What was it over? Etc. You want to take the temperature of it. You want to know where you are at. How much violence is on this yard and has been on this yard? When is the last time the Crips and the Bloods got into it? Or the Blacks and the Southsiders got into it? When is the last time? When is the last time a Black was stabbed and why? I need to know. Or is this a yard where everyone is just cool? There's not a lot of violence. Everyone is just taking care of business, thus curbing the violence. Or is this a very violent yard? And as far as we're concerned, as far as my car, our car is concerned, what are the rules? Can we gamble? Can we purchase illicit stuff and try to make money? Can we frolic around with other ethnicities, other races? Can we be cool with them? Can we talk to them? No. What's going on? You want to ask these questions because you want to know exactly where you are at and what's been happening on this yard. You want a bit of history about this yard because oftentimes, of course, the history predicts the future. And this is just some of the ways that you protect yourself. When I got there to one of the particular level 4 yards, I received a kite, which is a letter, if you will, and it had rules listed there. And it came from one of the younger homies, but he had just written the rules out for me. And these rules were very serious. It had on there, I remember, no tree jumping, meaning no playing with yourself, with a female staff walking by and this sort of stuff. And at the time, it was no gambling for us. It was shooting dice out there on the yard. But for us and our car, our faction, our section, my section, there was no gambling. And the list went on and on. And when I came out to the yard, I was asked in no uncertain terms if I had received that kite, if I had received that list of rules. I said, yes. I said, man, I've never got a list of rules before when I hit the yard. I'm popping it like I'm some big old OG who's above getting a list of rules. Like, man, I know how to comport myself. I know how to conduct myself. I don't need anyone to give me a list of rules. I've been locked up. I just hit this prison yard, but I've been locked up for years. And I know what I'm doing. I haven't gotten in any trouble. I don't need y'all giving me a list. was essentially my attitude. When I went to the yard and they asked me, "Hey man, did you get the list?" "Yeah, I got the list." We're like, "Well, I don't need what did I need that for?" And they let me know in no uncertain terms, aggressively even. "Listen, you are indeed the bro." The big homie was talking to me at this time. And he said, "You the little bro. We all know who you are. We've done our homework. We got the report card. We know that you don't have no smut on you. That you've stood tall behind these walls and taken care of business at every turn. That you've laced the homies up and supported them in every endeavor. No one has nary a bad word to say about you, bro, including us. Some of us know you personally, but your reputation precedes you here behind these walls. Nevertheless, as much as we love you, understand this. We will kill you and pay for your funeral. We'll kill you and go to your funeral. If you flout any one of these rules and our protocols on that list, we don't care who you are or who you think you are. We're going to disallow you on this yard to put everyone else's life in danger because you think that you are above the rules and the protocols. It doesn't work like that on this yard. This yard is very dangerous. It's extremely volatile, and it can go up at any given moment for any given reason, particularly should one of our own flout a rule or a protocol. So yes, sir, we are very serious about following these rules. That's why we wrote them out for you and made sure that you got them, that you got a copy of them. This is not a game, bro. We know that you've been doing time. We know that you've taken care of business, but every yard is different. And on this yard, it gets real, and it gets real very quickly. So you have to be militant at all times. On the list was that we had to read, we had to exercise, all sorts of stuff. Yard was mandatory. It was a weapons only yard. All this is on the list. If you get into it with someone, you either have to leave it alone or you have to stab them. Those are the only two options. That's it. We don't want to hear about it. We don't want to talk about it. We don't have no big old meetings about it and all this. Bro, either you leave it alone, we don't want to hear about it, unless it's time to go up. Either you leave it alone or we going up. It's one or the other. So if it's not that serious, in other words, then leave it alone. And if it is that serious, then be ready to go up with a weapon, because this is a weapons only yard. And we know who you are and we don't care. We love you. But what's love got to do with it? You've made it, this is the big times. We going to die for you out here on the yard, but not over any nonsense. And then you hit another level 4 yard, and it's a bit looser. Let me tell you, these level 4 yards, even now, today, they're watered down. They're not all that they're cracked up to be. Some of them are soft even. Certainly, many of the individuals on these yards are soft. They're not the same. There's a lot of snitching going on these level 4 yards. Some of these individuals just have not been weeded out yet. You have some very strong level 4 yards still in the California penal system. Don't mistake me. Nevertheless, a lot of this stuff is watered down now, just like it's watered down on the streets. The gang culture is watered down. Snitches are everywhere. Cowards are everywhere. Everything is on the internet, etc. It's the same in prison. Prison is just a microcosm of society. So in prison, things are watered down as well, which is really, it really befuddles me that an individual will have a problem with making it in prison the way that the prisons are today and the way that the prisons are designed today. If you can't make it on a general population level 4 yard today, if you can't survive on the main line today, you really have a problem. You are really soft. Because a lot of those individuals are soft. They just really haven't been exposed yet. A lot of them are flouting these rules and protocols, and it eventually catches up to them, which is why I would not want any of you to flout any of these rules or protocols. Sometimes these individuals get away with it. And so the prison system is not the same. But I don't want you to mistake what I'm saying. It is still extremely violent and extremely political, particularly a level 4 yard. But you can survive now, particularly in these prisons, if you just comport yourself in a certain manner. If you just mind your own business, don't get into debt. You're not in there for being a rat or a chomo or anything like that. And you're not going to do that while you are there, because some individuals do. Don't do that while you are there. Don't become a rat in prison and get caught up. So you already have a leg up on the game. When you hit the yard, you have no smut on you. You have no reason for people to be looking at you or to be wanting to target you. So you hit the yard with a clean slate. Fine. Just find out what the rules are for that yard. Who's the strongest car here, bro? Who puts in the most work on his yard? Who got the strongest shot caller here? Which car ain't going for none? You get into it with them, it's up. They don't want to talk. They don't want to hash it out. They are attacking. You need to know these things because you're trying to stay out of the way. You're going to see it as you go along. Observe, watch everything, watch who's really following the rules and who's not, who has the favoritism and who does not, who has what going on. Yeah, you want to watch this. This is just self-preservation. You need to know what is going on in your environment immediately so as to protect yourself. But again, the way that the prison system is set up now, and again, it's still pretty tough, but you can survive it. It's watered down in many ways. And so again, I look at individuals now and I say, if you got ran off the yard now, the way these yards are, you couldn't even make it with these dudes on the yard. Man, you done. You are cooked. You're nothing. Give it up. Because you should be able to make it in prison the way that they are now. And you still got ran off the yard? That's all bad, bro. Period. You really couldn't have survived 30 years ago in prison. They're not even like that now. But they still have rules and protocols that you must abide by. And if you don't, it can quickly get dark for you. Everyone will turn on you. So again, you follow the universal rules no matter where you're at. Do not steal. Do not get into debt. Do not gossip, talk behind anyone's back. You just be a man. When people see you, you have a book in your hand or you're working out, you're by yourself or with your one or two main individuals that you kick it with every day on the yard, you're not always laughing and gossiping in someone's business. You just minding your own business. You and your boy, y'all walking the track. And only thing they're gonna be able to say about you, every time I see him, man, he minding his own business. Work out, go back in his cell. I'll never hear him yelling out of the cell, talking crazy to anyone, looking crazy at anyone. This man minds his own business. He doesn't bother anyone. That's what you want them to say about you. And as long as you can carry yourself like that, you'll be fine. You'll make it home. The only individuals that really get into trouble, of course, are the individuals who committed a violation against a rule that they promised to uphold. This is the oath that they took. And they abandoned that oath in a moment of weakness. And now they have to pay the consequences, as we all do. If it's not that, again, you come in there with a clean slate and you end up getting into trouble while you're on the yard and get ran off the yard, which happens all of the time, then you've done something wrong. Because if you just mind your own business, don't get involved in anything, then everyone is going to leave you alone. No one is going to bother you. You don't bother anyone. Not anyone bothers you. Now, they have certain, when it comes to the race issue in prison, it's very intense. They have one side of the day room, they being whites and Hispanics, and the blacks have another side of the day room. They have tables on the yard, and we have tables on the yard. They have benches that they sit on. We have our own benches. They have their pull-up bars. We have our own pull-up bars. We do not intermingle like that. We do not mix. Everything is separate. The brothers are all together, particularly when something happens. We tend to come together, have no choice. But other than that, it's very divisive amongst the black community, unfortunately. But not everywhere. In some places, it's a pretty strong black presence and a pretty strong, black pride going on the yard, but not enough, particularly these days. Nevertheless, the main thing is, again, just follow the universal rules. No stealing. You don't want to do that. Thieving in prison is the same as being a chomo or a snitch. It's going to be treated the same there in prison. It's on the same level. That's what it is. You don't want to get into debt, and you don't want to be loud. You just take that with you everywhere. And then certain prisons, again, they have particular rules for that yard. You need to find out what the rules are for that particular yard. Because, again, it could be very different than the yard that you just came from or the next yard that you go to. Over here, you can gamble. On this yard, over here, you cannot. Well, you need to find out which one is which. Because it's not a universal rule against gambling. It depends on your shot caller, who you are, your car, your organization, what they have to say about it. And the same thing, some yards, it's mandatory that you come to yard. It's mandatory that you carry a knife. It's mandatory that you stick with your own people. And then you hit another prison yard, and it's not a weapons only yard. You can have a fight. You can deal with another race business-wise, as long as you take care of your business and don't get into any debt, etc. But on this prison yard, you cannot. So you just want to find out that particular prison yard, because they're all different. They all have certain rules that everyone must follow, no matter which prison it is, which level it is. And then they all have separate rules. Some things are allowed here and some things are not. Some things are not allowed here and other things are. So I just can't stress enough or emphasize enough that you just want to find out where you're at, the history of their yard, and how to conduct yourself there. And then you conduct yourself as such. Stay out of the way, stay out of everyone's way, respect everyone. Don't talk a lot. Mind your own business. Hang out with who you hang out with. Another strong individual that you trust, that you can trust, and you'll make it home safely. But if you go in there loud and you're getting into debt and you're getting into trouble and you think that you're bigger than the program, you think that you're tough, any of this, you will be attacked and it will not end up well for you. Let me know what you think in the comments. And the other thing that we can do is just stay free. Don't go to prison. But for those who are in there, even now, you want to follow these rules. And for those who may be on their way or know someone who's in there, you want to relay this to them. To just mind your own business. Prison, again, the number one thing is going to be respect. If you respect everyone at all times, and I mean everyone, then your chances of survival are great. But the moment that you disrespect anyone, because everything is so sensitive in prison when it relates to disrespect. A lot of things that you would not consider to be disrespectful here on the street, worthy of some sort of bloodshed, absolutely not, can cost you your life in prison. Something very trivial, something very minute. It was not that serious, or so you thought. All you said was such and such. All you did was such and such, but they're in prison. That such and such will cost you your life, because most of the people in there have nothing to lose, and they live their whole lives at this juncture based on respect. And if you don't respect them, if you disrespect them in any way, any race, anyone on these level 4 yards, you're putting your life in imminent danger. Imminent danger. Just respect everyone and respect yourself, and you'll be fine. Stay safe and stay free, people.